relative support system.
Follow person we no.
He's laughing. Maybe he's thinking about my first experience of, the first week I came here and I was like, trying to be the good wife, impress my husband. He's gone to work. I wasn't working then. Let me make a pot of stew. And I walked to a supermarket and I bought the first thing that, that said beef. And I came home and cooked it, and I was cooking this thing, blood was coming out. I was cooking it, blood was coming out.
When I came, I started applying immediately. I had interviews almost immediately, like 2 weeks, and some of them didn't really, I would say it didn't go as expected, but I learned from them. When the jobs weren't coming as quickly as I would want it, I had to get something doing. So, I did that for about a month, and afterwards I got a job.
Boom!
And to God be the glory.
The grace
I've had,
of God.
Opportunity with jobs, because I've changed jobs, and I'm just happy about that. But it takes the grace of God, and your skills have to have the necessary skills as well.
Yeah, then same thing goes for me, because my own case is actually different. I was a student, but I had the good job as a student, and he talked about having the right support system. So the job that I got was from my brother, showing us the things to do, and his wife. So they were like, there's this job you can apply for, there's this kind of job you can apply for. So from all those exposure that they gave to us, I was able to get a good job. Maybe not the kind of job student, because as a student you can only work 20 hours, but I was fortunate with their help and with the grace of God. So I landed an NHS job, and I'm just living the soft life as a student.
Apart from, when I was looking for a part-time work while I was still in the uni, thankfully, I got passed through that stage, as I mentioned earlier. I would say I've been blessed in that area, because every time that I've needed work, it's really come my way. I was also even blessed to get something professional job while I was still in school. That was not something I expected would happen, because when you're in school, you tend to do the menial odd jobs here and there. But thankfully, I was able to get something in the line of my profession while I was still in school, which was really a blessing. I've been blessed, I would say, in terms of seeking employment.
Yeah, it's been a while now, but I think I did. But I think the major one for me at that time was language. Even though we're speaking English, their English just didn't sound like English. And because we're in Scotland, it was even worse. So even when I apply for the job and I get the call, I don't have a clue what they're talking about. Then another thing I would say is be open-minded. Because when I came, I was, a fully qualified lawyer in Nigeria. So I was thinking, just get here, do a few exams, do your conversion, and then you'll be doing law. And, but I came here, I found out I was pregnant, so all that went into the back burner. But what job I found to do at that time, 15 years down the line, I'm still in the same organization, but I've changed roles more than 6 times. And I've started a new career path that I do totally enjoy. So even though I came in with a preconceived idea, the fact that what I was doing gave me more opportunities, more qualifications to do, and then you do something else. So yeah, don't be closed-minded to what you find yourself to do. And another thing I would say, even when you going for interview, be positive. I think for us Africans, and especially Nigerian, we have that way of trying to be humble, just sell yourself small. Here, if you literally lift a cup from here to here, the way the person will describe what they have done, I effectively, lifted that, they sell themselves and blow it out. And that's how you really will thrive here. Be positive, sell yourself. Nobody will blow your own trumpet like yourself.
The workplace culture is a world of difference compared to Nigeria. It goes back to the point I made earlier about our expressive nature. When you get to work, you exchange pleasantries, you find out what people have been up to and all of that. It's not the same here. And that's not to say that doesn't exist. It does exist. But it's more expressive in Nigeria. So when it's time for lunch as well, we tend to, go out in numbers and go to places. But around here, sometimes you can You can do your lunch on your desk. People sort of prepare their lunches from home and bring to work and just eat by their desk. So these were some of the things that were kind of quite different from the way that we were in my experience.
I think I prefer it here because in Nigeria, you had to respect people regardless of, you had to put Mr. something or Chief something, and if someone was like your boss, you had to it was more like a servant-master relationship. Here there are, people that are grandmas who we work together, and there are people who are way younger than I am. We work together as a first name basis, and that carries on to, having better communication, better collaboration. But I didn't have a lot of job experiences in Nigeria. But for me, I think the culture here, it has its own flaws, but I think it works.
The workplace culture in the UK, I would say, is kind of like a street. It's not so liberal. Yeah, my experience, not so liberal. Like, in Nigeria, when you start a job, you have somebody that will just, welcome. Like, in fact, immediately you have a body. Kidiko, they start gisting you, it's done. Like, it's so friendly. Maybe as Nigerians, I think we are generally friendly. But I would say British are not like the friendliest of, they're not like the friendliest of people. So I think that kind of like transcend into the workplace. So for me, when I first started my job, I was more like, what am I doing? Because like the people that they say, okay, I have a body that will be showing me things. Even when the other one is even speaking, I'm already dozing. Like I'm bored, and they're not so open, and so welcoming as such. So I kind of struggled to kind of like, to settle him on the job. So it was more like I have to be fighting to be seen and like, I'm here. But in Nigeria, maybe you don't have to really do that, right? So, and in the UK, when you are on the job, it's like, mind your business. Even if you are working as a team, you still like mind your business. Maybe the only time you kind of like talk like buddies and you're having fun at work is maybe when we have like a team meeting. But anything outside of that, even some of the team meetings, we still be hearing one word answers. People are just like, they're just boring. In Nigeria, though they try to incorporate some fun things, they have activities, games, they have odus where they talk about fun stuff. But I've been working here for like over a year. I can still say I don't have any friend at work like that can say my person, because you still want to be careful. Sometimes they are too friendly and they are friendly with you, but it's a lie. Like you cannot lose guard. So do you get? But in Nigeria, lose guard. Like maybe the cultural thing is there, so nobody can actually like come for you. Like, but here you have to still watch your back and be careful. You cannot be too expressive. You cannot be too close up. So it's kind of weird.
Of course, some people will complain about discrimination, racism, and what have you, but by God's grace, it's not something that I've experienced a lot. Maybe on one occasion, and I've been in Edinburgh working in financial services industry for 13 years now, so I've only come across one individual who happened to be So apart from that, I've worked quite with a lot of people.
We had to go to a new school. I had to make new friends, and because they weren't from where I lived, it was different. It was difficult to fit in.
I had to go to a new school, had to make some new friends, which was difficult. But
how did you overcome that challenge?
Well, it started me going to a group of people and like starting a conversation with them.
I faced my fear and started talking to people, and once I got to know those people, I got close to them.
So integration is going to always be a challenge, definitely. Integrating into a new society, most importantly, learning, the culture and understanding, how to say things and what not to say. It's very, very important. So that was quite challenging initially, but it takes the mindset to take a step back and, understand where you're at and, speak to the people and understand, their perspective and their culture. So yeah, that took some time, but it's a key thing, and, it's something that I would advise anyone to,
we can come in with our preconceived and pre-settled conceptions, but if you're going into a new society, you need to unlearn all that and relearn the new society that you're in so that you can fully integrate.
Yeah, and I think for me it's maybe more about the culture as well, because every land has its own culture, and sometimes while you imbibe the culture of where you're coming from, which you've grown with, and the culture of where you are, where you're living now and you call home, it's when they conflict, you're like, okay, so what do we do here? Maybe 15 years ago, the food was a challenge, or even knowing where to go to get them or getting the right stuff, but he's laughing. Maybe he's thinking about my first experience of, the first week I came here and I was like, trying to be the good wife, impress my husband. He's gone to work. I wasn't working then. Let me make a pot of stew. And I walked to a supermarket and I bought the first thing that, that said beef. And I came home and cooked it, and I was cooking this thing, blood was coming out. I was cooking it, blood was coming out. It turned out that it was a steak. It was not meant to be cooked the way we would, put curry, put thyme and cook beef and then make stew. So things like that, but that's laughable now, but it won't happen to me again. But yeah, now maybe more culture.
It has to be being away from family, because again, work demands makes it difficult to be able to keep up with friends and even with family sometimes, because you're just bogged down working and all that. So bring some sort of distance. If you're not disciplined, you can go weeks, sometimes months without getting in touch with people. And I'm talking about people that you knew all your life before coming here, friends and all of that, and your family members. So yeah, that's negative. But again, all of that has sort of improved these days. With WhatsApp and all of these things makes communication and getting in touch, if you want to, a bit easier.
What of cold?
I heard so much about cold, the weather, particularly in Scotland, being up north. I heard so much about that, but to be honest, he hasn't quite faced me, because I've just sort of, what to do. As I said around here, you just need to wear the appropriate clothes, wear the appropriate clothing. So I got that quite early. I adapted to wearing the appropriate clothing at the right time. So yeah, I wouldn't say the cold weather has really faced me.
Okay, so the first challenge that I would say we first experienced was childcare. So we came in with a 9-month-old baby. Yeah, Zoe was 9 months. Was it 9 months?
I'm not sure.
September? No, she was 8 months. Yeah, we came in with an 8-month-old baby, and I had to go to school. My husband had to go to work. Though we're staying with our family members at the time, but of course they all have their jobs and stuff. So it was then that we realized, okay, so what do we do? So at that point, we got counsel and we're told, when you have to go to school, someone has to be with your child. You can't just give your child to your relative and say, and just go. So that was the first challenge for us. But we were able to manage it quite well, because when we first came, it wasn't like IT job straightforward. So it was going on night shift. So it was good for me. He would be on night, then I go to school during the day. So we're able to navigate. And that was what we used, continuing in this journey in the UK, and it has really been a good one. So childcare, it's a major, major, major challenge.
Well, I would like to take you back to when we landed. So if you're coming to UK and you do not have relatives, you don't have preparations of where you're going to stay, accommodation is a very
yes.
So initially we put up with my brother-in-law, that's our brother. We stayed there for about, I think it was a week. There was some challenges that we had. We had to change accommodation because we just had to change. I wouldn't want to go into the details right now, but it was about a week, and after a week, we had to find someone else.
I think it was 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
We did 3 weeks. I think about 2 weeks.
We did 3 weeks.
But after that, we had to get somewhere else to stay. We were still looking for accommodation of our home, but you cannot get an accommodation if you do not have a pay slip, if you do not have a guarantor and things like that. So you have to have all of that in place. But because we had support systems, so if you're coming to the UK, you have to be going to a place where you have someone who's going to be at least accommodate you for the very first period while you settle down.
Show you how to navigate your way.
When we left my brother-in-law's place, we were going to another relative's place. And thank God it was a place that was big enough to accommodate us. and we stayed there for about a month because they actually made us feel at home. We stayed there for about 2 months. During that period, I got a job. I had the pay slip with which we could get accommodation. So accommodation is a very big problem. You come into the UK, you don't have a place to stay, you don't have a support system.
It's a big support system.
Think about it.
Let me emphasize on the support system. So when we came and we were in my brother's place for 3 weeks, my brother and his wife showed us everything we need to do. Like how to open a bank account because we need to start applying for a job like right away. They showed us how to open a bank account, how to get this, get that, like everything we needed. Like they were like hands down. We were doing everything for us, like showing us how to do. So that kind of make us to like settle in with ease. But if you don't have a good support system, I'm not saying my sister friend, I mean blood relative support system.
Follow person no road.
As in, for us, the journey was smooth because we followed the people that know road. Like, as we were landing, we landed on, as in, same ends. When we were leaving them, we landed on another same ends. You know, so it kind of make our journey very, very easy. So, support system, please. I'm going to the UK or you are going to even Canada, anywhere you are going. A good support system, not my neighbor that traveled last month or whatever. Like people that can actually accommodate your excesses and can be able to like leave whatever they are doing and really dedicate time to like show you how this is done.